Hey, welcome to the YouGoin'Pro channel, and we are glad you are guys here today. I advise you to take a pen and get a piece of paper because this is going to be a classic one. Today, we're going to be talking about the 7 common mistakes that 13 and 14U make in middle school playing baseball. Because there's common mistakes, and we're going to get right to it because I know everyone likes to get right to the point. One of the first things that I must say is not adjusting to the larger field. Okay, because now we're watching the Little League baseball tournament right now, and it's going up pretty good. But at this present time, the Little League, that field is pretty small. There's a certain age bracket. I think it's between 11 and 12 years old. When you get to a certain age, like for example, 13 and 14U, you get to 13 and 14U, and that's when it is all different. Everything is different. Everything's different. When I say that, adjusting to the field, making a transition from little league to a larger field can be daunting for little guys. Players need to cover, more ground. They have to run a little bit further. It requires a lot of better conditioning and also arm strength. You got to be able to throw further than what you're normally used to throwing. So that's the very first thing that I want to talk about, not adjusting to a larger field. Number two is the increase of competition. There's more competition than it was when you were in Little League. So, for example, let's talk about Little League. So, in Little League, we know that there's almost anybody and everybody plays. Anybody and everybody plays. But with that being said, as you get higher to the level of play, it's more competition. Other words, it's kind of dwindling. It's like going from first grade to third grade. The classes get harder, so things get a little more challenging. So the competition is more competitive. The players will get a little older. Also, with that, you can tell who stands out. Everything's going to be like laser focus. Everything, you're going to be facing more competitive competition. Competition is going to be a lot more competitive than what you're normally used to. Going from Little League and before that, I think it's called T-ball and that coach ball. It's totally different. Increase of competition. That's tip number two. Also, with that being said, if you just tuned in, we're talking about the 7 common mistakes that 13 and 14U middle school players need to avoid. So we're live here, and I'm going to tip three. Tip three is this: balancing academics and sports. I'll go back again. It's all about adjustments, and we all go through these different phases. Everything has a phase. Everything. So with that being said, you got to think about this. So let's think about this. So with that being said, balancing your academics, it's like going from high school to college. Same exact thing. The workload changes. So we all go through different stages. Balancing academics and sport. Middle school, you're going to have more academic responsibilities. You got to balance schoolwork, baseball practice, and it can be challenging. So that's a number. That is tip number three. Tip number four. This is a good one here. Physical development. Think about it. You've never worked out. You've never had any conditioning. For the most part, most kids don't have the conditioning. Most kids don't do exercises. They just go out and play. Just run out there and play. Go out there, throw the ball, catch the ball, whatever the case may be. But as you get older in middle school, because you're getting ready to that next stage, physical development is so important. Avoid it. These are the things you need to avoid. Players are different at different stages. Physical development is different. People growth plates come and go as well. Some may experience, like I just said, growth spurts. But with that being said, a lot of times there's a discouragement for some kids. There's discouragement. Don't get discouraged. If Johnny or Willie is not growing what you thought is going to be, you'll just say your father is 6'5", and you're still 5'3". It's okay. Remember, everyone grows at different spurts and different times. So understand there's a physical development challenge. With that being said, that's tip 4. Tip number 5. Tip number 5 is this: mental toughness. Now, people want to say, well, mental toughness. The reason I said that is because the mental toughness is very, very important. You develop resentment, resilience. I'm sorry, being able to handle pressure situations. Because I've been to some little league games, and I've been to some 13U, 14U, and that's 14U, 13U is pretty much right before high school. So that's basically 6th, 7th, 8th grade. Understand, when you go from 1st grade to 5th grade, that's one stage. Then you go from 6th grade to 8th grade. That's stage number 2. Stage number 3 is when you go from 9th grade to 12th grade. Then you go to another stage. That's step 4 when you go to college. So there's been many different stages, and the toughness is so important because the higher you go, the tougher things get. So the higher, it's just what it is. The higher you go in elevation of anything, the tougher it's going to become. Just remember that. That's just part of growth. Mental toughness. That's tip 5. Tip number 6: skill refinement. Avoid these. These are the things you need to be preparing for. Skill refinement. Middle school is a time where you refine and improve your skill. And I said that because you need to understand where you are good at and what you're not good at. And sometimes you don't find out till later, but the sooner the better. So you can start refining and getting prepared so you can get to the next stage. And with that being said, I'm trying to read my notes. Refining. Players need to focus, oh Lord, on proper technique and fundamentals, at the level they're at. Proper technique, throwing the ball the correct way, coming over the top, hitting the ball. Don't try to kill the ball. First, you got to hit the ball. See the ball, hit the ball. So that's something that you must understand. Skill refinement. That's tip 6. Tip 7 is this: injury prevention. People says, well, I don't get hurt. Well, that's what I'm saying. We're going back to their body. Everybody's body is different. With that being said, you got to understand when the competition is more intense, there's more risk for injury. The harder the game is, the more risk for injury. Your body's going to be going wear and tear. It's moving a little bit faster. It's applying pressure in situations that you're not used to. Having proper warm up. Remember that. Warm up. Get your arm loose. Do some bands. Also stretching. Do some dynamic warm up. People don't believe in that, but you need to do that. It gets your body ready. It's like going from cold to hot. So remember that. Injury prevention. Now we're going to team. I'm sorry, that's 7. Tip number 7 was injury prevention. Tip number 8 is a bonus. I have a couple bonuses for you. I know I said I want to give you 7, but I'm going to give you 10. Here's another tip. This is a bonus. Tip 8. Team dynamic. And you got to understand, when you're playing little league, you're playing the fast pitch or deady pitch the ball, a T-ball. It's a team, but it's not. The dynamics is a little bit different. You need to develop relationships with people. You can't just go out and I'm going to talk to my mom and don't talk to everybody else, because there's stages. You're getting prepared for the next stage. Have strong relationship with your teammates. Understand the importance of teamwork, because it can be challenging when there's a situation. So just say, for example, you're losing a game and you lost the game. It was a close game. And if you're not a close niche, helping each other, building each other up, and understanding that, hey, we're going to get them next time, or see what you did wrong so you can make the corrections or the necessary adjustments. That's why team dynamics is so important at this certain age, 13, 14U. The next one, I'm giving you, like I said, 10. This is tip number 9. Team management. Learn to manage your time effectively between sports, academics, other activities, and so you know how to understand as you go to the next stage. You got to understand how to manage your time better. I'm talking about the 13 and 14 years. I know the parents are going to be helping for the most part, but you have to understand mommy and daddy can't be there all the time. So take advantage of the situation when mommy and daddy is helping. Time management, learn to manage the academics, the sports activities, school. Everything's gonna hit you different in middle school. Last tip, I have the last final tip. If you just get on our YouTube channel, we're talking about the 7 common mistakes that 13 and 14U middle school players need to avoid. And this is the very last tip: parental pressure. Sometimes, parents, they mean well, but sometimes it's too much pressure for the kid to perform at a certain level. You don't want them to be stressed out. You don't want them to have burnout. Now, there's a difference between pushing and pressure. You know your kids. I'm not trying to tell you how to run your kid, how to coach your kid, or whatever the case may be. I'm just trying to help you to avoid these things, because sometimes you can mean well, but they can perform at a different level. And sometimes I can speak the same language, me being a coach, and a kid can say this. I can say the same thing a parent going to say, and it's just different. It's a pressure. It's just, that's what it is. But hey, as I just said before, these are the 7 common mistakes that 13, 14U middle schoolers need to avoid. I'm going to go a really quick snip, real quick. I'm going to run it real fast. Number 1, adjust to a larger field. Number 2 tip, increased competition is going to increase. Tip number 3, balancing academics and sports. Tip 4, physical development. Your body's going to go through some changes. You got to get a little bit more stronger because the game's getting harder. Tip 5, mental toughness. Going gets tough. You got to get prepared. It's going to get tougher. The more competition, the higher you go in competition. Tip 6, skill refinement. Know where you are. Refine your game. It's time to tune your skills up a little bit, sharpen up a little bit, get better in throwing, get better in hitting, get better in base running, whatever the case may be, get better in pitching. Next one, tip 7, injury prevention. You may not get hurt when you're younger, but sometimes you may get hurt now. So you got to understand you need to stretch. You need to do the right things to get your body prepared. You need to warm up. You need to do dynamic workout, dynamic warm up before you throw, before you get into the game. Don't just go out there and run. Stretch a little bit. Do what you need to do. Tip 8, I'm giving you 3 extra ones. Team dynamic. Build relationship and with your team. It's very, very important. There's 9 people on the field. We need to have cohesiveness. We need to have chemistry, team dynamic. Tip 9, team management. Understand how to manage your time with schools and activities and all the other activities you're going to have. It's part of the development stage, going from 13 to 14U. Because when you get on other travel teams, you just got to learn how to do that, time management. And the last tip is parental pressure. Understand, you're going to have some pressure. It's a difference between pressure and pushing. And you know your kid, you do what's best for them. But hey, this is Coach Laurie at the YouGoin'Pro channel. We're here, and our goal is to help athletes develop proficiency in assisting them in their passion for the game they love. Hey, I hope you like this. Hey, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell, so next time you'll be notified for all this great content. If you have any questions and you want to have anything for the next show, feel free to write something in there. But hey, as I say all the time, nobody's better than you. So go get it. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.